This is just a quick overview of the game of Pig, which is the project we'll do in lieu of a final exam. I'm assuming I'm going to get approval, so we're going to go with this. So today you'll get probably maybe 40% to 50% of the project done because a lot of it is just the setup. We're going to do some basic code. Now I sent you the viewing or guided practice sheet as a notepad file. And basically what I'm telling you is we've got LBL title here, and the text property is game of pig. That just tells the user what the game is. We've got LBL role here. I'm just giving it a caption because underneath I'm going to actually have the die roll appear, the 0 through the 1 through 6 for the die roll. I'm going to call that LBL die, and I'm going to put the word die in it so I don't lose the label. If I blank out the label, sorry, I'm losing my voice. If I blank out the text in the label, then I can't find the label easily to move it on the form. So I'm going to leave that with the word die in it. Then I'm going to put LBL player info, LBL comp info. Those are just titles to go over the two labels that will hold the score. LBL player score, which I set to 0 in the text property, and LBL comp score, which has a 0 in the text property. You can see those over here. As I cycle through, you can see all the text properties change. Remember, scroll to the very top of this window and change the name properties for each of these. Use the correct naming conventions with LBL in the front. Then I have 3 buttons, BTN click. The text for that is click for roll. Notice it's BTN click. Here is BTN exit, which just says exit. Here is BTN new game, which says new game. So change the fonts on these, make it look a little better. Remember, the property for the font is actually called font. You can click on that, get the dialog box that opens up, and change those. Now here's the thing, we're going to do some really quick code this morning with these, and I've sent you the code as well. In the form level, right after public class form 1, you're going to want to dim 3 variables, 2 to hold the score and 1 to keep track of whose turn is it. We're going to alternate turns. So I guess I need to give you a quick overview of the game of Pig, which you can find on Wikipedia. You're going to roll the die. Each player is going to go. They're going to roll the die as many times as they want until either they get a 1, at which point they lose their turn and it goes to the other person, or they decide to hold. And I forgot to put the hold button on there. We'll have to deal with that later. That's not a big deal. So when you roll a 1 or you decide to stop, play passes to the other player. So we have to have a way to know whose turn we're on. And when you get to 100 or more points, which is why we're tracking the score, you win the game. So if you roll a 1, you get a 1 for your score, and then you roll a 2, you've got 3 for your score, and so on. So now this goes right at public class form. Now then there's the form load event. You've got to put in randomize to make sure the random numbers get generated. Then you've got to set the computer and player scores to 0, so they have the initial value that we're going to add everything to. And we're going to start out with the player being the first turn. Notice it's double quote P, double quote capital P. Now in the click event, for the button click, which is what rolls the die right here, I'm going to put in my random number generator so I get a 1 to a 6 for the die, and then I'm going to change LBL die's text, which is this one, to show the number. For the close button, I'm going to put me.close paren, that will close out the form. And notice for new game, what do I really need to do for a new game? Well, I need to reset the scores back to 0. I need to make sure that the player is designated for the first turn. I'm going to reset the labels for all of these here. And that's it. For this, you may have to put double quotes around it. I didn't. It seemed to take it without it. To be on the safe side, you could put double quotes around there. But anyway, make sure you save it, save it, save it. And remember, to get something from the toolbox, you double click it and it drops it on the form. Then you can move it or do what you want. And also remember to put code, so I need to delete that later. To put code behind a button, you double click that button. And if you get out of sorts and you lose your toolbox and so on, under Window, go to Reset Window Layout and it will put everything back for you. Also remember you can hide or show this with the little pin button, okay? And so now I've lost my toolbox, so I come back over here and click on that, and then I pin it in place. So there you go, and that should get you started, and that's probably close to 50% of the code for the project. Remember to save, save, save so you don't lose your work.